Hello and welcome to building. Oh, wait, Steam. Building our new scenario. So this is going to be much more narrow in scope than um, we were previously. So let's see. This looks like a decent area for our operational area of operations here. Let's add some sides right along the bat. Um, let's see here. There we go. Add edit side. So, we'll just have the United States Navy, and we'll have China. We'll just rename that United States. If we had multiple branches, then that would be one thing. But we don't. So for general proficiency for the U.S., I'm going to put. I kind of wish there was an intermediate option, but I'm going to put veteran just because the United States has been involved in sustained combat operations for like the past 3 decades straight at this point. Between carrier operations, we were involved in some naval combat in the 80s with Iran, in which we wiped the floor with them, and even recently, like in the past few years. I remember the Yemenis fired some cruise missiles at a surface action group that we managed to shot down. So the fact that we have experience operating aircraft in combat operations, operating ships in combat operations, and defending our... Come on, Ash. Come on, just sit down. Make your spot, sit down. Okay. Good boy. Sorry about that. My cat really wants some attention right now. But just the fact that we have that experience, that combat experience, and the that we've done it recently too, is the reason I'm putting the U.S. as veteran. Also a little bit of bias, but I'm allowed to have that. I'm American. I will not be having like civilians or stuff on this map, because that takes a fair bit of time to set up. We'll leave the rules of engagement set for now, and we're going to make this kind of like a sneak attack. So China will consider us hostile, or at least unfriendly, and I guess we'll use... Because I think ROE is you can't engage unfriendly unless they shoot first. So, what are the other postures? Friendly, neutral, yeah, so unfriendly. So, we're on increased alert, but not necessarily at open war yet. So, let's switch our side to the United States. Alright, I just want to set this up first. And again, this scenario is going to be near future, a little bit of alt history, because I'm going to probably put in one fictional aircraft, but I expect the impact on this mission to be minimal. Mainly just an anti-submarine variant of the Osprey. Let's see, so let's have them, we'll say they just finished transiting the Strait of Taiwan. For whatever reason, China didn't attack them in the strait. Probably so they want to get help from Taiwan. Yeah, you know what? We'll do this off the coast of the Paracel Islands. We're starting to... we'll say we're starting to make freedom of navigation operation there. So... let's go and make our battle group here. What's our depth here? Negative 11,000 feet, so there's some room for submarine ops. And these are going to get moved around, but we're going to have... Can I do that? Country, United States. there we go. So we have the flight free Berks, which I'm going to, you know what, let's look in the database. What are the values? Is there any improvement in stealth? Here we go, radar. 25, 29, 25. Okay, so there's no improvement from the previous classes of Berks. I suppose we could see the, there we go, 2009. Yeah, so that's a little unfortunate, but ultimately I don't think it's gonna matter because again, we're going to be around a an aircraft carrier, which, stealth or not, is not gonna be like, well, stealth or not, you're still gonna see an aircraft carrier. That's basically what I'm trying to say. You know, even oops. We can work on locking in their exact positioning later. But what we're gonna do for now is something... This is gonna be the rough setup that I see. There we go. I have no idea what the green is. Maybe Sea-Wiz? No. That's 6 miles. Sonar, maybe? I don't know. Alright, so it looks like there is an update coming down the works, which I don't know how much. I'm actually going to have to rebuild the scenario for that. Hopefully not much. But it's going to feature changes to how radar works and make it more realistic so that, here, let's merge. Oh, it's already set to merge. Okay. It's basically going to make radar more realistic, so the old mechanical radars are going to basically have a very limited positive negative range as far as like altitude, so it's like plus or minus 30 degrees vision. So if you're above or below that cone, then even though you're in the radar range, they won't see you. Whereas ASA radars and PASA radars, as well as I believe, do have a much greater altitude angle limit. But they have, and they do have more power and stuff, but they have, instead of like, if, let's just plop down a, let's see. Plop down a Corsair as an example. Sure. Sensors on. This should be old enough that, yeah, so this is how radars generally look in the game, and how they work. Now, in this update that's coming, ASA radars will kind of bubble around at the edges, so they won't quite have that extend out this way like mechanical radars will. So you might have something like, but you know, obviously ASA radars still have much longer range and sensitivity than mechanical radars, so it'll change things a little bit. It'll be kind of cool. All right, as for what's up? Okay. You know what, let's make this a new window. I am failing at making this a new window. There we go. I should have set this up beforehand, but oh, there it is. Now there is a source I'm using for the air wing. Let's see, where is it? Here we go.
Among the
So this is the kind of the base that we're operating at for the air wing. I'm going to change it up slightly. I'm going to make the squadrons 12 fighters apiece. It's really weird. They have 3 squadrons of Super Hornets for a total of 28. And then 1 squadron of 16 Lightning. So I think we're going to go 36 Super Hornets, 12 Lightnings. Probably knock it down to 4 Hawkeyes, 8 Stingrays, and then 6 Growlers. So, I don't think there's any need for me to... I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think there's a need for me to modify any of the aircraft. So, but just for the sake of showing what everything looks like here, you know, for putting our forces on the board, so to speak. And actually, speaking of which, I did forget one ship that I do want to add. Let's see here. Alright, so we will be using the 2028 database entry for the F-35C. This will give us access to the AIM 260, at least as we know it now. So, I don't know. Do I wanna? Yeah. I'll stick to their format a bit. So there's our squadron of Lightnings. Oh. FA-18E. We have the 2023 variant of the E, and we'll have the 2023 variant of the F for the Super Hornet. So that will be Block 3. What's the difference between these? God, I wish I didn't have to. Oh. Oh, the second one has drones, which I think is this one. Nope. That's... What? Okay, this one. So actually, let me go back and make sure I selected the right E model. It might not have drones since it's a single-seater, but... and that would be really hard for one pilot to control. Yeah. So, I mean, the capability is probably technically there, but... Alright, so... Now the question is... how do we want to set that up? Obviously, we're going to do at least one squadron of E's. 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And one squadron of F's. But the question is, what do I want that third squadron to be? Do I want it E's or F's? I mean... Just thinking from a more strategic point of view, obviously F's generally bring greater capability to the table, but they require twice the manning in terms that you have a systems operator on top of a pilot. And they're probably a little less agile at air-to-air combat because of the added weight of having the the systems operator and those other systems that they control. A little less range. You know what? Yeah, so I think... I bet the Navy doesn't operate mixed squadrons generally. We'll have the... I think we will use the two-seaters for our second squadron. So, 48 combat aircraft, which compared to our source here is 2838. So we got 4 more combat aircraft. Hawkeyes are easy enough to add. E2D advanced Hawkeye with air-to-air refueling capabilities. Alright, so we got that. We're gonna have our detachment of growlers. We'll use the latest one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we go back to our source, which, by the way, the source for this is Battle Order. I highly recommend checking out the channel. It's pretty good. Guy does a lot of research. It generally makes decent videos, so if you're interested about, like, TOEs at all, it's a pretty good source. UCAV Squadron. We'll say 8 Stingrays. Okay, so proposed armed version of the UCAP. Does it still have the aircraft loadout tanker, aircraft loadout 1300, one generic buddy store. Okay, so it is still capable. Ooh, I like how the loadouts have different basically have different IDs now. That's kind of cool, so they can have different so now there's actually a cost if, say, you take a Lightning out in beast mode, as they call it. You know, your cross section will deteriorate, which I wonder if they see that. We'll go with the armed version for now. I don't think we'll be using those capabilities too much, but at least it's there. Alright, so we have our 8 Stingrays then. Alright, they have a detachment of 3 Ospreys, which is going to be the CMB-22B, which is the only one in the database, so. And then I'm personally going to add 6, change those. Where is it? SV-22D Ospreys, which are supposed to be a hypothetical anti-submarine warfare variant of the Osprey. I'm sorry, I just hate odd numbers like that, so they'll have 4 carrier onboard deliveries. It makes sense for them to have another one to support the extra aircraft I'm throwing in, I guess. So 12, 24, 36, 48. So we're at about 76 aircraft at this point. And we've pretty much hit everything. It's just the probably a mix of a sea combat and maritime strike squadron at this point. Um, so 6 to 10 Seahawks. That sounds about right. So we'll have 6 of the Sierras. No, the Romeos. So we have, here we go. They have Madden. They're putting Mad on them. Oh, that's first I've heard of it. All right, and then they'll also get 4 Sierras that they can use for various special forces or search and rescue, that sort of stuff. So this is the carrier's air wing. So we have 12 F-35s Cs, 12 F-18E Block 3s, 24 F-18F Block 3s, 4 Hawkeyes, 6 Growlers, 8 Stingrays, 4 CMV-22Bs, 6 SV-22Ds, 6 Seahawks, and 4 Nighthawks. So I think... Oh, it only does the first one. That's a little disappointing. Can't group new things. Other than that, so one ship I did miss that I do want to include, which will pop in there for now, is going to be the supply. We're going to have the... '97 and 2003. I think this is the last version that has... Yeah. So this is the last version that actually had, what's the speed on this? I'm blind. Where's the speed? Oh, you know what? That's at the bottom. 25 knots. Really? What about the, what are they called? The predecessors to the supply. Sacramento class. Was their speed only 25 knots? 26, okay. Ooh, this looks like the last version that actually was militarized. Yeah. So actually, we're gonna take the Arctic, which let's just make sure it wasn't a 25 knots. Okay, just want to make sure it's not one of those. Oh, we decided this class is too expensive, so we're gonna half-ass it on the last class. Now I believe, bring this up again. I believe she has flight facilities. Hangar for 3 medium aircraft. Okay, so for her. Now, for the attached air wings, for the Arctic, we're going to have one, oops. I gotta change to aircraft, CMV. We're gonna have one CMV Osprey, and then 2 Nighthawks, since their goal is more just lifting things around. Which I think unrep is, or vert rep is something they can do. God, do they have a vert rep loadout? Because if not, then... Because this is vert rep and utility. So loadouts, ferry, cargo. Okay, so it just needs a cargo loadout. Which it kind of doesn't have? Oh, here it is. Oh, it does have cargo slung loaded. Okay, so we will be going with 2 of the Nighthawks then, which will be their 2021 variant. So we'll have 2 of those. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 principal combatants here. Each one is going to have 2 embarked Romeos. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then to round everything off, we'll probably have we'll throw in some submarines here too. We can go with the Flight 5 Virginias. And as far as placement, probably one ahead as a scout and one as like a close in the fence. Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, because then with the towed sonar array, it should be able to keep the flanks clear. Or we could do something like this. I'm not sure how I want to position these guys. But I think that's going to be the setup for... well, I don't know how much it's going to matter, but there are facilities for boats, so we'll have we can just give all the combat ships some RHIBs. Boat operations. I just want to check the yeah, so 2 very small. Okay, so it looks like I don't like how do I edit your hosted ships? Edit dock boats, here we go. I wish you could choose I do want to alright, let's focus this in on the United States then. Oh? I would think. Oh, those are Turkish? I guess this is everything he can support, so I guess we'll just do... One thing I do want to check in the database is how the RHIBs compare. So, let's see. 2 MGs, a Furuno, and a Mark 1 eyeball. Swap that with a Furuno, generic night vision goggles, Mark 1, 1 heavy and 2 light, yeah. So we're gonna go with the generics, and even for the 7-meter ones. That's about equivalent to the basic. Likewise, I think the one they have for the US here is superior to the basic, but not as good as the enhanced. What's the speed on them? 40 knots versus 40 knots. Okay, yeah. So I think we can do that, and that should be all the boats they can host. Yeah. Because they have space for 2 11 meters and one 7-meter. I'd like to put some unmanned surface vessels in here, but I guess they don't support that. Looks like they are not able to host boats. Neither can the carrier. So we're just going to basically give those to the rest of the ships here, the combatants. One. Two. One. Oops. Come on. Come on. Come on. There we go. 1 and 2, 1. And 2. And 1. So, and I'm not even going to bother modifying, replacing the generic radar with the Furono, or Furono, however it's pronounced. I don't see a point to that. We will be doing some changes. Obviously, we got to do missile loadouts for all these guys. But and then obviously we got to make our cruiser. This guy's gonna be. We're gonna. Let me just rename him now so I don't lose track of him in the future. But this is gonna be called DDG X, which is basically gonna be a cruiser, but so with that, it pretty much concludes the basic setup for our mission, at least from the United States side. I think next time we'll worry more about kind of setting up the Chinese opposition, because what I'm kind of envisioning is a Chinese carrier battle group, a Chinese fast attack group, several technically, and then some shore-based batteries here, and some and obviously an attack by land-based aircraft. But I gotta do some research yet into, as I did some a long time ago for the previous incarnation of the scenario, but I gotta do some research again as to roughly how many they have of each to see, because obviously they aren't going to spend everything on one carrier battle group, but how much are they going to use to try to sink one battle group? That's kind of the question, but I have to do that research, which that will happen off camera so as not to bore you guys. So with that, thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for next time, and stay safe out there, and we'll see you then.